certain side.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Tobacco Talk Tuesdays. Caitlin here, and today we have a very special live stream because we're going to be introducing you to our newest tobacco team member in Claude. And just so you guys know, if you have any questions or comments for Claude, please put them down in the comments at any time during the live stream. He'll answer as he goes, as he can, but definitely before we sign off for the day. So I'll let Claude take over, and he'll tell you a little bit more about himself.
Thanks, Caitlin. How's everybody doing? This is my first live stream, so be a little patient with me. Again, my name is Claude. I've been with Unified for almost 3 years now. I started out as a volunteer in the IPSI office, not far away from where I reside currently. I was there for about a year before a position opened up in Detroit in the reentry department. Reentry is our department that serves returning citizens, people that have spent some time maybe incarcerated, jail, prisons, but primarily our contract is with the Michigan Department of Corrections. And we provide services to people living with HIV that also happen to be incarcerated. So if it's somebody that was formerly incarcerated and needs services, or somebody currently incarcerated that looks to be getting out within the next 6 weeks or so, that's where I would provide services, case management, and what have you. So we would do intakes and we would bring people on board. And one of the questions that we would ask them is where they were at with quitting tobacco. So it was always with an intake that I would perform what's called our tobacco screening process. And many people that have to manage kind of getting themselves acclimated back to their lives from coming out of incarceration often struggle with tobacco. And sometimes it's the last thing, obviously, somebody's thinking about, right? Like, I've got to get back to my family. I'm looking for a job. They may be negotiating a new health diagnosis, or maybe this is one that they're now having to renegotiate once they get back outside. So it can be difficult for people to think about tobacco cessation and, making that a priority while they're trying to get their lives back together. And yet I have had clients that have checked off the yes, that they were interested. And as a result of that, people in this department, Amber and Caitlin, have been able to shepherd them through the process as much as they can and offer them support. So when the opportunity came up for me to be in the department, knowing what happens with clients once I forward them off, I, of course, got very excited about it. It came at a time where I myself had already been about a little over 6 months from quitting. I first started to quit last March, or at least this time started to quit last March. I've tried to quit many times before that. I started smoking, I want to say, at around 2001 when I moved to New York City. It just became part of the culture. It was kind of around, everywhere. And, wasn't really anything that I felt like I was addicted to, but it was just part of the evening of sitting down, having a glass of wine, or waking up in the morning with the morning coffee. And it became habitual from that. And to the point that definitely there were times where, smoker's cough developed at some point, challenges with friends around, my car smells now, not feeling very confident when it comes to things like interacting with people closely for fear that they could smell it. Kissing became like an issue even. So I had all kinds of things mentally that were egging me on, going, be nice if you quit, be nice if you took it back a little bit. And then probably the smoker's cough was the biggest challenge that I had, because at some point I could literally feel as though the tar was keeping something that was normally happening, right? Like my breath leaving from, my diaphragm and getting all the way up to the top of my head. Like all of a sudden I would smoke and there would be a barrier that I could feel. And I could feel it very strongly when I coughed. So that's been my experience with quitting, right? Like it's just been something that's hung over my head. I've stopped for periods of time, particularly in times where I've taken my fitness more serious. So in this last time that I quit, what catapulted me was more of a commitment to fitness, because I knew that if I worked out more, my body would reject so much nicotine and so much smoke in my lungs. So it became kind of a way to force myself to quit, because I was interested in getting more active physically. So, and it worked. Getting up in the morning and working out, spending the extra time, even in the afternoons when it was warm, to just go for a walk, maybe for a couple of miles, made smoking cigarettes very unappetizing to me. So there was a natural feeling of letting go. Now, not everybody gets there, right? Not everybody gets there that easily. I was reading a couple of days ago from something that's called the Global Adult Tobacco Survey. And they completed a survey about a year after the pandemic started. And their takeaway was that about 176 million smokers who had attempted to quit within those last 12 months found themselves successful in quitting with little or no assistance. Like somehow the pandemic made it easier for them to maintain commitments. Now, that's one side of the equation. Another side of the equation is that the pandemic has has increased anxiety for some people. That it's made it more difficult to quit. That people are nervous. People have lost jobs. People have lost family. There have been all kinds of ingredients that have not necessarily made it easy to quit, but for some have made it more difficult. And so that's why we're here. That's what our TERP program is about, is to offer that assistance. You may be somebody who is just as simple as changing some things in your diet or changing your fitness patterns, and it forces you to quit, and that's great. But if it's not, our program has things like one-on-one counseling, which is great because we are able to provide that to you online now and virtually, even though we are restricted from meeting with people face to face. We also have support groups that meet. And again, even though we're dealing with a pandemic, we've got, tools in order for people to be able to meet virtually. We also have what you're looking at now, which is our live streams, just things that, pop up on your screen that you can listen to at any time. Someone can either tell you their story or talk to you about the program and the different services that we have. And then we also have blogs. If you're not somebody that's into communication visually, we also have a blog at Unified for people like myself, people like the other counselors here, and also our peer support people or peer support individual that can give you some feedback as well. So all of those, about 4 different services, not to mention, the things that come with tobacco cessation, right? The gums, the patches, the different, hard tools that you may need to get you to where you want to be when it comes to cutting back on smoking. So those are all the great things that we have to provide for you. Again, your journey may be different than mine, but we've all got a journey. And the great thing about this program is that we're able to assist you at any point in the journey, whether you're just kind of thinking about quitting, whether you are somebody who has quit and right now maybe going through a challenging time where you feel like, oh my God, I could be triggered at any point because there's so much going on. We have the tools to offer you that support at any point in your process. So that's about all I've got, or at least the majority of what I've got. Yeah. Anything else, Caitlin, that I might be forgetting?
No, that was awesome. The only thing I'd say is just remind people we do have additional resources, quick kits, phone line referrals, anything like that. Give us a call, and we're happy to connect you with those resources as well. Big shout out to Claude. This was his first live stream, and we're so glad to have him here in the program, but also contributing to this and kind of some of the knowledge and experience he brings. So big thank you to him, of course. I don't think there are any comments other than the one I just stuck in there about our COVID-19 and tobacco reduction blog. So I know Claude was talking about that and the success he's had during COVID-19. So check that out if you have more questions, or of course, you can always reach out to us at the numbers on your screen. Tobacco Talk Tuesdays will continue every second Tuesday of the month here on Facebook and YouTube with myself, Amber, and probably Claude again at some point in the future. If you have any questions about Claude's story or anything he brought up or any of our services or really anything tobacco related at all, please give us a call, whether it be the main office line or those numbers that are again on your screen right now, and we'll be happy to answer them. And I don't think there are any questions or any comments that we need to respond to. So have a great day, everyone.
All right. Thanks, Caitlin. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Claude.